Columbia, Cable 3 Sports presents another edition of Cable 3 Sports Special. And today, we welcome you to a hot summer afternoon for the 10th annual Rye Baseball Invitational Tournament. And a little later on this afternoon or this evening, whichever you're watching, we'll have game number 2, which will feature Larchmont Mamaroneck taking on Rye. But coming up right now, it is game number 1, featuring Eastchester and Portchester. And hi, everybody. I'm John Carrillo, along with Ray Karowski, as we welcome you to John J. Feely Field here at Disbro Park in the city of Rye, New York, for one of the truly great high school baseball tournaments in the middle of the summer. And we are here at day number 1 for that extravaganza, if you will. There are 12 teams involved in this tournament. They'll be playing for 2 weeks or so, and we'll finally crown a champion on or about August 1st. But today, the important day, because this is where we get it all started. And speaking of getting it started, getting us underway is Stephanie Ives of Cable 3 Sports, who's got both of our managers for Eastchester, Billy Cade, and for Portchester, Sal Carino. So let's go down to Stephanie now.
Thank you very much, Don. You know, this is the 10th year of this Rye City Pepsi Invitational. And Coach Cade, how long have you been involved with this?
We've been participating 5 years now. This is our 5th season, thanks to the invitation of Mr. Vallone. And
you don't have a team during the season, so how do you pick the players to play in this tournament?
Well, we watch a lot of baseball. We follow the Eastchester kids, basically, and the opponents they come up against. We get around Westchester, and we watch the boys from a very young age, and when the time comes, we just extend the invitation, and we've had a lot of success pulling boys in from all over the county.
Would you consider this an all-star team for Eastchester?
Predominantly Eastchester players, but supplemented by all-stars, you might say.
Thank you. And Coach Sal Carino, you're right now in the middle of a season. How do you feel playing a tournament? Is this interrupting your players?
Not really. It's an important tournament, so it's very important that we play here. It also covers our year. We always plan on the middle of the year being in this tournament, so it's really a prestigious tournament, so we do work around it.
And you say that you faced Eastchester just a couple of times before. What have been the outcomes of those games?
Well, last year we beat him twice in the first game. This year we beat him, but I'm sure it's a different circumstance. As we said, this is more of an all-star caliber, and the other teams were more basically regular Eastchester teams, so this will be a much tougher game.
What should we look for in terms of your pitching or excellent players, outstanding things that we should look for?
Well, Drew Ryan, who will be pitching today, has an excellent fastball, changes his speeds. I also would look for Dave Fleming, the first baseman, who has excellent power. And if we get a good pitching performance, it'll be an excellent game for us. Okay, well, thank you very much. John, these teams don't face each other very often, so the outcome should be very interesting. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Stephanie. I agree with you there. Two very talented ball clubs set to begin in this first round of the 10th annual Rye City Pepsi Baseball Championship. And as we mentioned, we've got Eastchester and Portchester about set to do battle. Before we get the home team, which will be Eastchester, out onto the field, let's show you how the opening weekend will set up. And we've already had one game played earlier today in game number 1, North Castle, a late entry coming in for the Norwalk Ball Club from Connecticut that just couldn't make it. Well, they came out in fine style, defeating Stanford here in game number 1 by a score of 5-0. Of course, this game we're about ready to watch, Eastchester against Portchester. And then after that, we'll also have for you here on Cable 3, Larchmont Mamaroneck team taking on the host Rye Ball Club. And then the final game to be played on this opening day Saturday will feature Greenwich, Connecticut against Scarsdale. Now, action will continue again tomorrow on Sunday with more games coming up. North Castle, with their win today, will move on to take on White Plains in their opener. Harrison, the defending champions of this tournament from a year ago, will take on the winner of this game today, Portchester and Eastchester. And then tomorrow, Greenberg, also getting a bye in that first round, will meet the winner of the Larchmont Mamaroneck Rye game. And then our final game on Sunday to conclude the opening round will be Scarsdale Greenwich winner against the Bronx Red Wings. So there you have the opening slate for this tournament. And Ray Karowski, an excellent baseball tournament, hardball tournament for these guys. Most of them between the ages of 16 and 18. Some have completed their high school careers and have moved on to college ball, and others are looking forward to going on to college.
John, this is probably the most prestigious baseball tournament in Westchester County. And talking about college ball players, Eastchester has on their team Gary Scott from Pelham. He was a football, basketball player, broke the record in basketball. He was a freshman college All-American at Villanova University. It would be great to see him play here today, but he's away playing with the Pelham Mets. And there are some tremendous ball players here. And I was talking to a few college and professional scouts who are here at the game this afternoon. Neil Summers for the Cincinnati Reds. Brian Collins from the California Angels, the assistant coach of Princeton, is here. Fred Calicone from Pace College is here. John Slosar from Fairfield College is here. And there are more college and pro scouts will be at the game, and they will be showing up a little bit later.
All right, there you see what the teams will be shooting for. The hardware, they seem to get bigger and bigger as we continue to come here year after year. And that, as I mentioned, on August 1st, will be the championship round. This is a double elimination tournament, so there will be a loser's bracket, and the teams that lose their opening game will head into that. Umpires for today's ball game, and we'll go with two of them. Behind the plate calling balls and strikes will be Mitch DiNatal, and out on the bases this afternoon will be Field Nardone, and those gentlemen coming under the direction of Chuck Regano, who is the, I guess, the umpire-in-chief, if you will, for this very, very fine tournament. All right, the home club out on the field, the Eastchester Ball Club, wearing the familiar red and white jerseys. And let's take you around the infield and show you how they set up defensively. At first base will be number 20, Bob Forcelli. The second baseman, wearing number 6, will be Terry Lally. And down at shortstop, number 7 will be Chris Archiello. And down the lines at third base, a fine season for the Ardsley Panthers this year, number 32, Ray DiMartino. We'll go with 3 outfielders as always. In left field, number 17 is Mike Schultz. The center fielder, wearing number 25, is Al Tiso. And down the lines in right field, wearing number 27, an excellent athlete at Byram Hills High School, number 27, Alfie Oliva. Behind the plate doing the catching, wearing number 8, will be Richie Petrillo. And out on the mound to start the ball game for the Eastchester Ball Club, wearing number 16, is Scott Minchak. He is a freshman, or will be a freshman this year at Georgia Tech. And he is a right-hander, throws righty, bats righty, and wears number 16. And the hopes of Eastchester in this opening game will rest on his strong right arm. It is a hot, humid day today. Temperature expected to get up around the 90-degree mark. Not as humid as it was a week ago when we were at the Pony Coal League field, but it's going to be a tough one for the pitchers. Keep the hands dry and make sure they got good control on the fastballs and curveballs.
I think with the weather, the hotness and everything, that doesn't bother the ball players because this is baseball weather. They must really play in this kind of weather. It's a summer game. It's the humidity that kills you. That's where you have that, you know, the heavy air, your hands get wet, and you become very tired and your stamina tears down. But just passing by us was Sal Carino. He's the coach for Portchester, and I found out that he played for St. Bonaventure. He was a pitcher, and he was in the minor leagues for the Yankees for 2 years. In '85, he won this tournament. He's a good baseball man, and he has that burning desire to excel and win.
And of course, you're very familiar with Bill Cade, manager of the Eastchester teams. We heard with Stephanie moments ago, now in his 5th season running this ball club. And a lot of work because it's a team that he has to put together just for this tournament. That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. He has to call other schools or the ball players and ask them if they would like to play for Eastchester. They really didn't have that much of a practice session. He does have Scott for Villanova, but he had a game with Pelham Mets. He has Russo from Ardsley. Went to the States. They won the championship 2 years in a row, state champs. And these ball players are missing. And just to mention that Cade's son, Billy, played football for me at quarterback for 2 years and only played in 2 losing games. And he has a son coming up, Scott Cade, another great athlete. So it's an athletic family, and he's really into the game. He volunteers a lot, and he really wants to see the kids do well, play well, and he gets them into this tournament. It's one of the best tournaments around.
It really is, and as we mentioned, there are a total of 12 teams from throughout the metropolitan area participating in this tournament. It goes on for 2 weeks. They play, try to get in 4 games each weekend day, that being Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll play 1 game every night. And I believe for the first time this year, they're going to be utilizing Rec Park here in Rye for a couple of those games during the weeknights to try to get 2 of them completed. Of course, in a tournament of this nature, you have to contend with the weather, and one rainout, especially on a weekend, can turn this tournament into havoc. Ralph Alone, the tournament director, who we'll be meeting a little later on in today's ball game, has that headache to try to keep the schedule on top. All right, we're about set to begin. The opening pitch about coming. Charlie Rosabella will lead it off for Portchester. Turns around to bunt, and the first pitch from Scott Minchak is low, ball 1.
Okay, Charlie played for Portchester High School. His batting average was .362, 37 RBIs, and he stole 23 of 27 bases. He was an all-league, all-section selection. Next year, he will play for Westchester Community College.
And right now, a hit on the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Top of the first, no score. First batter in this ball game. Minchak kicks and deals, and that's in the dirt, ball 3. 3 balls and no strike. Norwalk a winner earlier today. Or, pardon me, not Norwalk, North Castle coming in for Norwalk, beating Stanford by a final of 6-0.
John, we're so close to the batter and the catcher here, and you can see the perspiration coming right off the catcher's face.
Get ready to eat some dust, pal.
At least we'll be right on top of the plate.
That's right. That's down Broadway. Count goes to 3-1. Outfield straight away. And that one downstairs, low, ball 4. So Rosabella is the first hitter on. And that'll bring up now Chris Bade, number 24, playing center field. With 1 on and nobody out, we got a lefty.
Chris Bade was the center field for the Mahopac High School team. His batting average is .408, 22 RBIs. He has 17 stolen bases out of 18 attempts. He was all section as a junior, and he's a tremendous basketball player. And next year he will be attending Yale University.
Another Eli.
Going to Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth. You just have to have tremendous grades to get into schools like that.
Runner fake to go, and the pitch fouled off, out of play.
I got to keep our eyes on Charles there at first base. He had 23 steals out of 27 attempts.
Richie Petrillo behind the plate will have the job of trying to gun him down. Infield settles back into double play depth now with nobody out and a runner on here in the top half of the first inning. Toss over to first, not in time. Bob Forcelli, the first baseman, number 20. Got a good look right behind.
This is where you're hoping the pitcher rolls a deuce. That's where the batter went hit a ground to go for 2.
Oh, they hit a line drive to the shortstop, Chris Archiello, and he just tags Rosabella, who was moving on the pitch. And that's a quick double play.
Okay, now on this pitch right here, this was a hit and run because Charlie already on first base was taken off. He was almost down at second base when his catch. Chris Archiello makes a good stabbing catch and tags out Charles going into second.
All right, one thing you have to remember, however, that ball was tagged by Bade.
It was ripped. They're going to rip the cover off the ball here this afternoon.
Yes, sir. So now we'll have the pitcher, Drew Ryan, climbing in now with 2 outs and nobody on here in the top of the first.
Drew Ryan is a third baseman and a pitcher for Mahopac High School. He batted .420, 26 RBIs. He had 20 steals and 21 attempts. His pitching record is 6 wins and 1 loss, ERA of 1.2. He was all league for 3 years. He's the Daily News selection. He's a football player. He was a basketball all league, and he will be attending Montclair State.
It's on the outside corner, and quickly now, Minchak ahead on the count, no balls, 2 strikes to his counterpart, Drew Ryan. That incidentally, seen a couple of players already who participated with the Mahopac Indians. That was a good baseball team this year in Class A. 0-2 pitch by Minchak. Curveball swung on and just foul tip. So Ryan stays alive. Now Petrillo's going to go out and have a quick chat with Minchak. Usually when that happens, the catcher's been crossed up somewhere along the line. Called for the fastball and had the curveball come in instead.
It could be, or possibly he might say that, you know, Drew did not fade away. He wasn't mesmerized by the curveball, so let's be careful. You know, come over the top, make it a little sharper.
0-2 pitch, just a little bit low and outside. 1-2. 7-inning ball game.
1-2.
Winner of this one will move up to the winner's bracket, while the loser will go into the loser's bracket. Double elimination tournament. 2 losses and you're out.
Drew's a big man up there at the plate.
Curveball ripped down to shortstop. Archiello nicely up with it. Throws to first in time. And that's going to do it as Portchester comes away empty here in the first. No runs, a walk, no hits, no errors, and we had nobody left on base. And at the end of a half inning of play, it's Portchester nothing and Eastchester coming up. So big double play there by Chris Archiello at shortstop, getting Scott Minchak out of what could possibly have been a bit of a jam here in the beginning, but nonetheless, Portchester comes away empty. So let's take a look now at how the visitors stack up defensively as we take our trip around the infield and outfield. Over at first base, this is a big name in high school athletics, especially this past season. Number 16, Dave Fleming, had an excellent outing as a pitcher, threw a couple of no-hitters for the Indians, and he will be moving on to bigger and better things. Over at second base, number 33 is Mario Ferrante. The shortstop, number 19, Vinny DeGrandi. Get a look at him. You will not see him at the plate. He's going to be DH for today. And down the lines at first base, wearing number 1 is Charlie Rosabella. That's third base for Portchester, Charlie Rosabella. In left field, number 11 is Chris Kolapa. The center fielder, number 24, Chris Bade. And down the lines in right field, number 5, Doug Flam. Behind the plate doing the catching, wearing number 22 is John Goodlife. And out on the mound, just met, number 4, Drew Ryan. Be throwing him, the big right-hander, open up the ball game for Portchester. No scores. We move down to the bottom half of the first inning.
John Goodliff this past Thursday was down at Eastchester to Cincinnati Reds tryout, and it was a tremendous experience for him and the other ball players. There were some great players there from college. Had some players playing like minor league, you know, hoping to sign. There was one ball player from Houston, Texas that looked very good at second base. Joe Ferrara looked good at second base. He went down to the Yankees tryout. They liked him. They called him back. So it's a tremendous experience for a high school player to be invited to a major league tryout camp. And then knowing that he's going to go to college and play 4 years and hoping that things work out well for him and someday he may be in the majors.
All right, we'll move down to the bottom half of the first inning here at Feely Field at Disbro Park in the city of Ryan. Leading it off for Eastchester will be the catcher, Richie Petrillo. And not too often you see a catcher leading off, do you?
Now, Richie Petrillo, he was on a junior varsity team at Princeton. Their record was 7-9, but he batted .411, and he had 18 RBIs. So, you know, he can hit, he has a good eye, and he has college ball experience behind him.
Quickly, 1 ball, 1 strike to him. And Ryan's fastball misses high and outside. 2 balls and a strike. Nobody on, no outs. Bottom half of the first inning, no score. A little low. 3 balls and a strike.
Drew Ryan has a nice motion out there. He's keeping the ball low, right around the knees.
Foul ball down the left field side. That one almost getting some of the fans out there.
He does have a gun out there, John. See him throwing, good speed, throwing gas. To get around on him, you're going to have to pull the trigger quickly. Swiftness of the bat speed. That's what you need here, bat speed.
Well, Petrillo's worked the count full, 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch. Grounder down to second. Mario Ferrante up with it. Tosses over to Fleming in time. We've got one away. So I'll bring up now the second baseman, Terry Lally. Matter of fact, there's quite a gap between left field and center field. The center fielder, Chris Bade, on the right side of second base. That one's inside, and it's 2 balls, no strikes.
2-0. And again, we're here at another beautiful manicured field. Last week we're at Eastchester, Pony Coat League Field, well taken care of. This field's well groomed also.
That one is high. 3 balls and no strikes. Some of you may remember we were here last year in the middle of the Eastchester Rye game in the opener of this series, and we had a tremendous thunderstorm roll through that canceled not only that game but play for the next 2 days, so we never were able to get that one in. But Lally's on as Drew Ryan issues his first walk of the ball game, and we'll bring up now the number 3 hitter and the center fielder, Al Tiso.
Yeah, Al Tiso, first baseman, pitcher at Eastchester High School. He has a full scholarship to St. John's University. His junior year, he batted .575. His senior year, he batted .435 with 40 RBIs.
First fastball's over, strike 1.
Good fastball hitter.
Terry Lally down at first, 1 away. Infield double play depth. Runner holds, curveball swung on and missed. Tiso way in front of that one, and Ryan now ahead on the count. No balls, 2 strikes.
2 strikes. A lot of times the pitcher comes in with some smoke, and then you're the batter. You're looking for a fastball, and all of a sudden you get mesmerized with the curve. It throws you off.
Easy toss over to first. Lally back in easily.
Just keeping Terry Lally honest there at first base.
High roller. They'll have trouble getting 2. They're not going to get any. That one slipped right past the second baseman, Ferrante. Lally around third, and he will hold up there. And Tiso will get on with the error. E4. Ferrante tried to short hop it, and it slipped underneath his glove, and he was hurrying. As you'll take another look at it here, you'll see he was trying to hustle to see if he could at least get that double play if possible. But right there, the ball slipped under his glove, and on the play, Lally hustles all the way over to third base. So Eastchester's in business here with runners at the corners, 1 away, and the cleanup hitter up, Mike Schultz, left fielder, number 17. And the first delivery from Ryan is high, ball 1.
Mike Schultz will be a sophomore at Concordia College, and they play some great baseball there. John Daugherty's the pitcher there, made a college all-star team. I see coaching third base is Vince Forte. He's the track coach at Fordham University. He is presently in Columbia going for his doctorate degree in chemistry. Be a chemist, physicist, whatever. Coaches baseball, basketball. I remember he was coaching summer basketball for Coach Ron Rothstein at Eastchester. And Ron Rothstein now was the assistant coach with the Detroit Pistons.
2 balls and a strike to Schultz. Runners at first and third. Runner goes. Pitch on the outside corner, and they're going to try to score the run. Here's the throw. Got him. Tremendous throw by the shortstop, Vinny DeGrande. Al Tiso slid in safely as DeGrande came up in front of the bag and guns down Terry Lally at the plate for the second out of the inning.
What arms, what a throw. Catcher fires it down on the line. Shortstop DeGrande picks it up right here. What an arm right there. Immediately to home. Comes on like a rocket right there. Bang, bang, play.
Nice play by John Goodliff to block that play.
Got to be a rabbit on these bases in this game. You really have to move.
Swing and a miss. Foul tip into the glove. So the count now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Al Tiso down at second base. 2 away here in the bottom half of the first inning. Yeah, a lot of action
Yeah,
here
John,
early.
you're right, John. John Goodliff did a good job blocking that plate.
Curveball swung on, base hit, right field. They're waving Tiso around third, and the throw will be cut off. He will score. Eastchester leads 1-0. RBI single for Mike Schultz, banged it in the hole between first and second. So that throw out at home plate, a big one.
Excellent hit. Mike Schultz, his father is the president of Concordia College. Big boy Mike, nice extension of the arms, good hit right in the gap between first and second. Comes up with an RBI, and Al Tiso motoring around for a big man. St. John's is going to like him down there.
All right, here's Ray DiMartino, the third baseman. Takes an opening strike from Drew Ryan on the outside part of the plate. Ray played this year with the Class C state baseball champions, Ardsley Panthers.
And in September, he will be playing baseball for Ithaca College.
Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes.
2 strikes.
Ardsley, as I'm sure you're well aware, the only team to ever repeat as state champions in the high school baseball ranks. Won it last year and repeated again this year. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and DiMartino goes quickly on 3 straight pitches, but Eastchester comes away with a run on a hit. We had 1 error and 1 left on, and at the end of 1 complete here at Disbro Park, it's Eastchester 1 and Portchester 0. There's always something good on Cable 3.
Good evening. I'm Madeline Klein.
Welcome to Jobs and Careers. I'm Jack Scarangella.
Welcome to The Total Image. My name is Luis Martinez. I'm your host.
Hello, my name is Harold Mawhinney, and the program is Rich Harvest.
Hello, I'm Pete Gallo, your host for Go For It.
Programs that inform and entertain every day on Cable 3 because we work for you.
Go For It.
Back here at Feely Field at Disbro Park in the city of Rye, John Carrillo along with Ray Karowski and Stephanie Ives. We're moving out to the top half of the second inning. Eastchester leading 1-0, and in an excitement-filled ball game in just 1 inning of play. We've had quite a bit of action here early, and this is why this tournament, indeed one of the premier hardball tournaments, if not the metropolitan area, throughout the country as well.
It really has a good reputation because you have professional scouts here. Brian Collins from the California Angels, I spoke to him for a few minutes. And Neil Summers from the Cincinnati Reds. And you have college coaches coming here. They're looking for talent. This is where they come. They come during the summer. They see what's available. You know, they may see a ball player here that's a junior in high school, and then start sending him literature and start looking at him next year. A lot of these young men here in Westchester County are receiving scholarships, partial scholarships. It's a great way to get an education, going to school and having fun playing ball. And then on top of it, if things turn out well, you can end up in the major leagues.
Like B.J. Surhoff, who played right here. Now catcher with the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, here's a guy who may have a good crack at getting into the professional ranks. Dave Fleming, playing first base today from Mahopac High School. You may remember Dave. We had him here on Cable 3 Sports when we did the Westchester Golden Hoops Classic, the Section 1 All-Star Basketball Tournament. Grounder, and they're going to say fair ball. And a nice play down at first base by Bob Forcelli, picking it up himself and taking it all the way for the first out.
But Dave Fleming was chosen as the pitcher of the year in Section 1, and I also understand he can really hit the ball. I spoke to a couple of ball players that play with him in American Legion, and they said he just bangs the ball right out of the ballpark.
So quickly, 1 up, 1 down, and now John Goodliff, the catcher.
John Goodliff went to Rye Neck High School. His batting average is .461, 27 RBIs, stolen bases. He was 9 for 10. He had 18 walks. He has a good eye. He also played football for Rye Neck. He was the fullback when we covered Rye Neck Hastings game.
That one's down Broadway. Count evens at 1-1. Must have liked the coach, Jerry Fiore, who did both this year, both the football and the baseball teams. and, if I'm not mistaken, the Rhinebeck Panthers, the team that knocked Eastchester out of the Section 1 tournament. And I know I'm not mistaken.
That's right. And also in football, they were the ones that beat Dobbs Ferry to break their winning streak.
Quite an athletic season for those Panthers this year.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad we brought that up because we'd like to pass along our best wishes to Les Smith, the athletic director over at Rhinebeck, who's retiring this year. Actually, is already retired and is moving on to greener pastures, and it's been a great help to us here at Cable 3. We wish him all the best. That one's over. And Scott Minchak now even up on the count. 2 balls and a strike to John Goodliff.
And John Goodliff will attend Springfield College. Play some more baseball.
Maybe a little football. It's big enough. Reaches out for this one, pokes it into right field. Alfio Levis standing right there, makes the catch, and we've got 2 away. Well, team settling down a little bit after that fun-filled first inning. And climbing in now will be Chris Kalippa, the left fielder.
Got 2, want the last one, come on, Scott, 8.
Chris played for Portchester High School. His batting average is .458. Whew, that's some hitting there. He was the most valuable player in the league, had 42 RBIs. In steals, he was 13 for 15. He was all league, all section, all daily news. Next year, he will attend Syracuse University.
Ooh.
The Orange Men. They get like 40, 50,000 at a basketball game. That'd be they play in a football arena.
1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Nobody on, 2 outs. Top half of the second inning. Eastchester leading 1-0 here at Disbro Park in the opening day of the Rice City Baseball Invitational. Outfield straight away. That one's low. 2 balls and a strike.
Let's go, Scotty, come on.
It's a good poke to get one out of here, except if you're a lefty. They've got a relatively short porch down the lines and right. And that one, Kalippa way out in front of it.
22.
And the count evens up at 2-2. End of this half inning, we'll take you take a trip around the outfield, show you the dimensions of the ballpark. As Ray mentioned, manicured perfectly for this tournament. Curveball missed outside. So Minchak has run the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Top half of the second inning, Eastchester leading 1-0.
Scott Minchak is pinpointing the ball. He's throwing it inside for the inside corner, throwing it for the outside corner.
Low, just missed along the knees, and Kalippa is on. Second walk issued by Minchak in the ball game. And with 2 outs, we'll bring up the right fielder, Doug Flom. Doug will come from the right side.
Yeah, he attends Norwalk High School. He'll be a senior this fall. His batting average is .444. He had 21 RBIs, and this young man is a rabbit on the bases. He has 10 for 10 in steals. He was all league and all city. Norwalk, Connecticut. They bring him into this game from out of state.
Curveball swung on, lined into left field, and that'll fall in front of Mike Schultz for a base hit. So Doug Flam gets the first hit of the ball game for Portchester. Kalippa moves down to second. Runners at first and second will bring up the second baseman, Mario Ferrante, with 2 outs.
Mario Ferrante is a second baseman. He started on the Boston University varsity baseball team at second base. Batting average .282, 22 RBIs, and 33 hits.
Rips this one the whole base hit. Around third is Kalippa, and the throw coming in is off the line, and a run will score.
A little dust bowl here at home plate. Beautiful slide.
We're all tied at 1 apiece. This one just got past the glove of Bob Forcelli down at first. Alfie Oliva with a good throw, but it jumped right in front of Richie Petrillo at home plate and skipped away. And all of this with 2 outs as Ferrante comes up with an RBI single. On the plate, Doug Flam moves all the way down to third base, and on the throw, Ferrante's at second. So Portchester still in business with 2 runners in scoring position, 2 outs, and it'll be Steve Mirando now, the designated hitter. He's batting for Vinny DeGrande, the shortstop, in today's ball game, and he'll come from the left side of the plate, number 23.
Steve was a right fielder for Portchester High School. His batting average was .290 at 12 RBIs. He is undecided in what college he will attend. He's a strong hitter. This is his 3rd year in this tournament. He played as a 15-year-old, and he's the one that hit the home run to win the game and the tournament for Portchester.
Curveball hit down Archiello, took a big hop, and he stayed with it nicely. Nice play by Archiello at short to come up with that one. Grounder down to short, over to first in time, and that's going to do it for Portchester here in the second. But they do pick up on a 1 run on a couple of hits, no errors, and we had 2 left on. And at the end of an inning and a half of play, it is Portchester 1 and Eastchester 1. As we told you, it's a beautiful ballpark, John J. Feely Field, in the complex known as Disbro Park. They've got this field, plus they've got Little League field, some tennis courts as well, so full athletic complex. And we'll show you how deep this ballpark is as we'll begin over at left field. Right down the line, it's 333 feet. To the foul pole, and then as we go to left center, it will balloon out there to about 380, the power alley in left center field. In dead center field, just past our camera to the right-hand side, is 362, and then in the power alley in right center, it comes in just a little bit at 355, and then as we mentioned, the short porch for the left-handed swingers, it is only 301 down the right field line. So there's your best bet for a home run, though in that first game, the leadoff hitter for North Castle blasted one into the little river that sits behind right center field, a right-handed swinger, and he belted it to open up the game. And as we mentioned, North Castle went on to win that one 6-0 to move into round number 2 in the winner's bracket. So we got ourselves a pretty good one going on here as we go to the bottom half of the second inning, and leading the way for Eastchester will be number 27, the right fielder, Alfie Oliva. He'll come from the left side of the plate. Alfie had excellent campaigns over the years at Byram Hills High School.
He was the quarterback on a high school varsity football team. He will be attending Ithaca College, and I think he will be playing football for Ithaca. Had a great year. They won the bowl game.
Facing the offerings of Drew Ryan, who's now behind on the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Again, the outfield shaded towards the right. Infield back on the almost to the outfield grass, as that one is up high, and it is 3 balls and no strikes.
What do you say, big guy? Here we go, here we go.
That one missed a little bit high, and on 4 straight pitches, Oliva earns the free pass. Second walk given up by Drew Ryan in the game, and Eastchester with the leadoff hitter on. And climbing in now will be Roger Cirillo, the designated hitter. He's batting for the pitcher, Scott Minchak. Quick conference with Vinny Forte down at third base. And some of the folks working on that good base tan today. Good day to do it.
Roger will be a freshman at Manhattanville, and he will be playing baseball there.
Pitch a little bit inside as Cirillo squared around, but then pulled the bat back.
comfy, let it comfy, come on. Come on, Drew.
And the outfield playing deep now. It's deep as they've been so far in the ballgame. Swinging away, and that one's over, strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out. I'll leave it down at first base. We're all tied at 1. Bottom half of the second inning.
I'll tell you, Drew is coming in with that ball, but they're not coming down the middle. He's not giving you the pitch right down the middle of the plate. It's either above the knees, it's the outside corner, or the inside corner. He's trimming the black on the plate. Not going to give you anything good. Good control.
Hey, Rod, hey, Rod.
2-1 pitch. Low, outside, 3-1.
He just will not come down the pipe.
Do you blame him?
Even with 3 balls, he'll try to work the corners.
Yep. Hey, Rod, here we go, Roger.
Reached out for it, pokes it into right field, base hit. Oliva around second. Here comes the throw into third. It's a good one. In there, slid right around the tag. And Sal Carino is going to come on out and have a quick chat with home plate umpire Mitch DiNatal, who came down the lines to make the call. We'll take another look at it. It was close. But, Coach, I think, from our perspective, Alfie Oliva slid around the tag.
There's a good arm. Beautiful throw.
He was in there. Just did beat the throw. You got a good look at it from our third base camera.
Good arms out here. Good throw from right field. What an arm. All he had to do was just throw it a little bit to his left, and it would have been 1 foot above third base.
So Eastchester in business. Base hit by Cirillo. Oliva is down at third, and Bob Forcelli, the first baseman now, number 20, with nobody out. And the first pitch is up high, ball 1.
And they have a good individual up at the bat now. He has a half scholarship at Boca Raton in Florida. He plays baseball down there, and his batting average is .325.
Ripped, caught at short, throw over to first, not in time. They tried to double up. Roger Cirillo, what a grab at shortstop by Vinny DeGrande. That one hit on the nose.
Wow, he soar up there on that hit. Beautiful catch. You see him right here soar, makes a beautiful arm. Bang, bang to first, very close. Boy, the ball's moving around here, whether it's off the bat or off someone's arm, just throwing it.
That's the first out here in the second, and we'll bring up the shortstop, Chris Archiello. Runners at first and third, and that pitch is low, ball 1.
This is great competition. I can see why college coaches come down here, professional scouts. These guys play hard, throw hard, good arms, bang, bang. They're thinking, they know exactly what to do when they get the ball, where to go to. No hesitation. Yeah, everyone's in a ball game.
2 balls, no strikes to Archiello. Going outside, 3-0. Infield setting in double play depth. Try to get the twin killing, get out of the inning with no damage.
Now, Chris Archiello for Eastchester High School batted .345, and he had 6 home runs.
Outside, ball 4, and Archiello is on, and that loads him up as we head back to the top of the order with the catcher Richie Petrillo climbing in. He bounced to second to open up the ball game. He's 0 for 1.
Hi, Richie. What do you say, kid? What do you say, that man?
But an opportunity here to do some damage with the bases loaded and only 1 out.
He grounded out his first time at plate. This is the time where you want to make contact.
He does. Rips it into left field, base hit. 1 run will score. Roger Cirillo, and he is held up at third base. And Eastchester now leads 2-1. RBI single for Richie Petrillo. First ball hitting and ripped it into left field. And Sal Carino is going to take that long walk out to the mound and have a quick chat with Drew Ryan.
That ball was ripped. Do you have... Now, we talk about the lively ball. I don't believe in that theory. All the balls have been made exactly the same, approximately last 115 years. It's just that the batters are getting a little bit stronger. They have quicker bat speed. They're coming around, making good contact.
You watch
At the aluminum bats also. I mean, in the majors, they don't use. They use that white pine, that ash.
I think they threw out that whole lively ball theory after the All-Star game.
Not only that, but there was an article in the paper about umpires, the strike zone. I agree with that.
Curveball is over.
Major League umpires have a strike zone from the belt to the knees. I mean, they're not going to give that strike to the pitcher above the belt, and I think that's wrong. I said, if you can umpire, you know, it's from the letters to the top of the knees. Make the call.
That one foul back, and now Ryan ahead on the count. No balls, 2 strikes to Terry Lally. Lally walked in the first and then was thrown out on the bottom half of a double steal. This one, fair ball down the right field line. And that's going to score 2. The throw comes in. Throw down to second is not in time. Terry Lally right down the first baseline inside the bag. Drives in 2. And Eastchester now leads 4-1.
This is a beautiful hit. The pitch is outside. Terry goes with the pitch right down the line. First base comes up with a double and 2 RBIs. He just went with the pitch. He didn't pull it or anything. Was the outside? Took it right there. Beautiful piece of hitting.
All right, it'll be Altiso now. Curveball's over, strike 1. Tiso reached on an error in the first inning, then came around to score on Mike Schultz's RBI single. Give Eastchester the quick 1-0 lead, but now they're up 4-1. This one, high fly, left center field, right center field. Coming over is the center fielder, and making a stumbling catch, Chris Bade. And on the play, Richie Petrillo scores from third. Lally moves up to third base, and Tiso with a sacrifice RBI fly ball, and the Eagles lead 5-1.
Boy, these batters are just attacking the ball.
That's quite a catch by Chris Bade out in center field. Long run for it. Almost went right past it. All right, it'll be Mike Schultz now, the left fielder, and he goes after the first pitch, pounds it into the ground. Vinny DeGrande at short, flips to first in time, and that will finally end the inning, but not before Eastchester comes up with 4 runs of their own. On a total of 3 hits, we had 1 error and 2 left on. And at the end of 2 complete here at Disbro Park, it is now Eastchester 5 and Portchester 1.
Have changed their commitment to news. But while they cut back, we build. Follow the leader into the future of television. CNN, the world's most important network.
Back here at Feely Field, John Carrillo along with Ray Karowski and Stephanie Ives, as we've got a pretty good ball game going in the opening round of the 10th annual Rye City Baseball Invitational. Eastchester leading Portchester 5-1 as we move now to the top half of the 3rd inning, and we'll go to the top of the order. It'll be Charlie Rosabella leading it off, facing the offerings of Scott Minchak. Rosabella walked his first appearance, then was doubled up after that, and the first pitch by Minchak over, strike 1.
Scott Minchak's going to have to bear it down here. He's going to have to hold him, not give up any hits. He's got a good lead. He must maintain it.
Curveball missed high, 1-1.
Here we go, kid. Go, Scotty, come on.
Charles, the batter, was all league and all section.
Time called at the plate.
Taking a little bit too long. Pitcher's taking a little bit too long. Charles calls time, steps out. It's concentrating, gets geared to cock and pull the trigger.
Just a little bit low. 2 balls and 1 strike to Rosabella. Temperature about 90 degrees out here in Rye today. Fouled off the screen. And that evens the count at 2-2. Good to have Bruce Nagrin back on the sidelines again. Nagrin, who's sporting a brand new goatee. Where's it going? We don't know. Bruce has been a little under the weather the last couple of weeks. Been working on that good tan, however, even though he's been a bit ill. But back out here. He's working our third base camera today. 2 balls, 2 strike pitch. Curveball reached on, down to shortstop. Archiello charges. Throw to first in time. We've got one away. Well, they're keeping the shortstops busy for both teams.
And Chris is doing a great job at there. The last play he made, you know, nice soft hands, quick, bringing it right to the center of his body, releasing it for the out. And last inning, there was one coming right at him, and it took a bad hop. And a quick reactions by Chris. Comes up and makes the catch and the throw out.
All right, it'll be Chris Bade now, the center fielder, coming in. He lined to Archiello at shortstop, who doubled up Rosabella on the play for a quick twin killing.
Chris Bade, an all-section player as a junior from Mayapack High School. Will be attending a great educational institution, Yale.
Nobody on, 1 out.
Victor Forte graduated from Yale. He pitched for Eastchester High School. Pitched 4 years at Yale.
Is he done already?
He just graduated. Yeah, he started work last week for a financial company down New York, down the city, and his first assignment was he had to read a stack of cases or whatever on their financial statements for 5 hours.
Archiello again at short. Long throw this time, just in time. We've got 2 away. Oh, Archiello cruising at shortstop this afternoon. And we've got 2 up and 2 down. And now we'll bring up the pitcher, Drew Ryan. He also bounced to short in the first inning. 5-1 the score. Eastchester leading as we're here in the top half of the 3rd inning with 2 outs and nobody on.
2 down, 2. Win plate, Arch. Win plate.
Drew Ryan has made all section 3 years in a row. He played football, basketball, and baseball.
Fouls the first pitch off.
And that's an athlete, playing all 3 sports. Zerhoff played all 3 sports.
Now, let me ask you a question. You're involved in high school education, former high school football coach. What about, seems to me over the last few years or so, maybe the last 5 years, that kids are starting to specialize a little bit. You don't really get those 3-letter athletes like you used to. You think that's a good idea?
That's true. They're specializing because the high school coaches want them to specialize.
That one's ripped into the gap in right center, base hit. Ryan, big turnaround first, but a nice play out in center field by Altiso, chasing that ball down in a hurry and leaving Ryan at first base with a single.
John, a lot of high school coaches, if a guy's playing basketball, he's doing well, they want him to continue on in the summertime. If he was playing baseball, a baseball coach would want him to play in the summertime. And the kid's he's sort of like being torn in between. And I think that each coach should concentrate on his players during the season. It's okay during the summertime, if you're not doing anything to work out or whatever. I firmly believe in an individual playing, maybe 2 sports. If he's good, maybe playing 3, because one sport compensates, it helps you out for the other sport. It keeps you that competitive edge. And a lot of coaches want them to just concentrate on one sport to get better, and like basketball, play in the summer, play in the free time, because you do have the opportunity. You want to play basketball, you go down the street, and you go, knock on a door, you want to go out and you want to play basketball.
All right, that's a good point you bring up. Do you think it hurts the athlete who, say, may really excel at football, and then when he goes play basketball, will it hurt him if he's trying to move on to, like, say, a Division I college football team or eventually onto the pros?
I don't know if it's going to hurt him. It's for years and years, the good old-time player played 3 sports. There was no problem. They went to college. They played. And the other theory is if you do specialize, you will get better. You know, how well-rounded are you? I guess there's 2 chains of thought, but I like the competitive edge. Even if you're a tennis player, you're still competing.
Toss over to first, and Ryan crawls back in safely. Got Dave Fleming now up. Fleming in a ground ball down the lines at first base that was fielded by Bob Forselli, and he stepped on the bag to get the play unassisted. 2 outs here in the third, and that one's on the knees. Strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to count now to Mr. Fleming.
Fleming graduated from Mahopac High School. His batting average was .440, 25 RBIs. He was all-section, all-league, most valuable player, pitcher of the year in Section 1.
Yeah, I believe he had 2 no-hitters this year.
He'll be attending the University of Georgia on a full scholarship.
He's just a little bit in front of that one and golfed that one deep, but foul.
What a great school to attend. The Atlanta Braves have chosen the pitcher from the University of Georgia as their #1 draft choice. And Fleming is going down there, and he has to fill his shoes as a pitcher and a hitter.
Let's go, Scotty, come on.
Now, this is a competition. He's going down there to accept and meet this challenge and conquer it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Dave Fleming. A runner on and 2 outs. That one popped up, and that'll be out of play. Maybe close to the hot dog stand.
If I was on a mound right now, I would never want to give him anything good down the middle because it's going to be bye-bye balling. This man up in Binghamton, they went up to play for the American Legion Invitational, beat Puerto Rico, and down there they play every day, so you know he did a great job pitching. But I also understand that in the field up in Binghamton they have lights, and the light pole is more than 100 feet tall. He hit a shot that went off the light pole just 10 feet from the top of it.
Wow.
So this young man can hit. I wouldn't give him anything good. I'd hit the corners, you know, frame it, and if you walk him, okay, fine. I'd give him a walk, then have him rock it out of here.
Oh, Minchak ahead on the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at first. It's Drew Ryan. That one just missed.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's the way I would pitch it. I'd pitch it close. Go for the black. Don't give him anything down there because his hitting zone is probably around his belt or maybe a little bit lower. If he catches it, there goes the cover.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Outfield is deep. Curveball in the dirt. Nice stop back there by Richie Petrillo.
Dave has an excellent eye. No shame in walking this young man. I wouldn't give him anything good. No way.
Payoff pitch on the way for Minchak. Runner goes, and that's fouled off the screen.
Throwing a curve. Trying to keep Dave off stride. Minchak's doing a good job out there. He doesn't want Dave to make contact with the ball.
Come on, Scotty.
Dave has a reputation. He can hit. From what I understand, his high school coach said that if the high school fields had fences, he would have 20 home runs.
Of course, with the 2 outs, Ryan will be moving on the pitch. Time called at the plate.
Let's go, Scotty. Come on,
Perspiration. I'm sure it would be a lot hotter down in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. It's a good test for him today. Runner goes, curveball ripped into right field, but right there, Alfie Oliva standing still, and he makes the catch to eliminate Fleming, and Portchester is done here in the third. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left on. And at the end of 2.5 now at Disbro, it remains Eastchester 5 and Portchester 1. Well, of course, with the summer, still, as far as Cable 3 is concerned, we've got about a month left before we're going to take our Cable 3 Fun Bus and send that into the shop for some major repairs and overhaul work to get ready for the high school football season. Boy, is that close already? Anyway, we've got still have some more games to pass along to you, including our Cable 3 softball game of the week. And Mike Moore, who's directing our ball games today, wanted to make sure that we got this one up for you because he just happens to play for the UA Columbia softball team, and we're going to be having them this year for the first time ever as they take on New York 7-Up in our game of the week as we feature the City of New Rochelle Recreation Softball League over at D'Onofrio Field, and you'll be able to see that one. That same day coverage, folks, Wednesday, August 5th at 9 p.m. UA Columbia against New York 7-Up coming up on our Cable 3 Sports Softball Game of the Week. Karowski's been busy.
Yeah, while we're waiting for the batter to come to the plate, let's have a little question here for the fans, and maybe you can answer this one. This is a major league now. We're in baseball.
Trivia questions, right?
Well, it's something that everyone in the metropolitan area should know. I think I gave it away with a hint, but
okay.
Who is the holder of the record for most home runs in a season by a major league batting champion? He was the American League batting crown. He won the American League batting crown in 1956 with a .353 average and clouded 52 home runs.
And had 163 RBIs.
Wow.
Did you say Mickey Mantle?
You're right.
Thank you.
Great job. You ready for the next one?
Save it for the next inning. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll.
Okay.
All right, we go to the bottom half of the third inning. Eastchester up, and they lead 5-1. And leading the way will be Ray DiMartino. He's first ball hitting in the hole. Long throw. Got him. Vinny DeGrande at shortstop. Backhanded it, and the long throw just in time. One away.
Strong arm by Vinny. Beautiful backhand. Nice strong arm to throw him out, and he was right there. Have to have that strong arm.
So Alfie Oliva now will climb in. Alfie walked in the second inning, came around to score. Drew Ryan still on the mound, and he blows a fastball past Oliva. Strike one.
Now here's Alfie. He plays football, baseball. Yeah, he didn't specialize in one sport. He's just an athlete.
Curveball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
1-1.
Now, speaking of Byram Hills, they had so many Con Ed Award winners. They must have had about 4 or 5.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
1-2.
One of them that I can think of right off the top of my head. One of the Seisler boys played basketball. Ron Seisler, who deals with us here at Cable 3 with the Iona College basketball package. His son had a great season. This one lifted into left field. Chris Kolapa, and battling that son, settles underneath him, finally hauls it in, and that's the second out here in the third. And we'll bring up now the designated hitter, Roger Cirillo. Singled and scored in the second inning. He's 1 for 1.
What a beautiful day for baseball.
It's a nice day. It's just a little too hot for my taste. You know, a little cooler. I'm talking maybe 5-6 degrees. That's all.
How can anyone think about going swimming on a day like today? This is baseball weather. And coming here with this competition, it's great. The ball moves around.
On the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Roger will be playing for Manhattanville in September.
That one bounced in front of the plate, and the count goes to 2-1.
You know, these ball players, they're big, they're tall, they're not skinny or anything. They're like muscular, strong. They look like football players.
They get bigger? You see them every year.
I think they are. I'd say yes.
Foul ball down the right field line.
They're much bigger, they're stronger, they're working out, they're going to Nautilus. You get to stretch with the Nautilus machines, you put a little resistance, it helps their bat speed. Good eyes, you keep your eyes level. They're getting bigger and stronger.
Count evens at 2-2. That one again foul.
Hit it on the handles. Hit it on a handle. If he would have gotten it on the meat of the bat, it would have been rocked.
22.
Oh, here we go. We have to watch for a home run. We didn't see one last week. Two games.
Right. Exactly right.
Let's see it clear the fence.
Curveball swing and a miss, strike 3, and Cirillo goes down on strikes. So Drew Ryan has his easiest inning of the ball game for Eastchester here in the third. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. And at the end of 3 complete in the Rye City Baseball Tournament, it remains Eastchester 5 and Portchester 1. And we'll return to Disbro Park in just a moment.
Cable 3 News, Westchester's only live 30-minute television news program.
From our New Rochelle studios, here's Kevin McKay.
Good evening. News from around the county and around your neighborhood. Politics, business, sports, medicine, and just plain people appear every week on Cable 3 News.
We're supposed to be in math.
Westchester's news program live at 6:30, Cable 3 News.
Always good to have the big fellow on the broadcast, Kevin McKay. As we welcome you back to Disbro Park, John Carrillo along with Ray Karowski and Stephanie Ives, who will, we're going to be putting her back to work in just at the end of this half inning. She'll be talking with the tournament director, Ralph Falone, coming up at the end of this half inning. But right now we've got ourselves a good ball game in this opening day of the tournament. I'm ready, Karowski.
Okay,
let her rip.
ready.
Trivia
Here
question
it is.
number 2.
Major leagues, that's it. We don't have any high school trivia. Easily the St. Louis Cardinals' career home run leader. His 475 homers for the Cards are 220 ahead of St. Louis' number 2 man, Ken Boyle. Who is the Cards' leading home run man?
I should let the fans get a crack at it.
Yeah, let's give them a
Everybody has
thought.
said it.
They all said it?
Stan the Man Musial.
Right.
All right. All right, we'll go now to the top of the 4th inning, and leading the way for Portchester will be the catcher, John Goodliff. Director Mike Moore's got a trivia question that we'll pass along at the next
he's got
opportunity.
a tough one.
That's a
I
good
have the
one.
easy ones.
He has that. He gives that one because he just read it in the paper the other day. That one's a little low.
That's not fair.
And now Minchak behind on the count. 2 balls and no strikes.
Now here comes a 3-sport player, John Goodliff. He played football, basketball, and baseball. He's an old-timer. These are the guys that come to play every day. They don't worry about going to a prom, having a girlfriend. They just want to play. Whatever the sport is, they want to compete. He's going to attend Springfield College. Had 18 walks during the year with Rhinex, so we know he has a good eye. He's a patient hitter, a contact hitter.
Curveball misses outside. And the count now at 3 balls and 1 strike. Scott Minchak on the mound for Eastchester. He's been staked to a 5-1 lead as we're playing the top half of the 4th inning. Opening hitter in the 4th, John Goodliff, fly to right field. His opening trip back in the 2nd.
There's one thing about baseball, you could never relax.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Could never relax. For example, last night's game with the Mets, they were ahead all the way up until the 8th inning or whatever, and Cincinnati comes in the top of the 9th, get 4 runs, and they win the ball game.
It's been a
You
tough
have
year.
to play hard from the beginning to the end.
And that's inside, ball 4. So Goodliff gets the free pass. That is walk number 3 by Scott Minchak in the ball game. Puts a runner on, nobody out. And Chris Kaluppa, the left fielder, he walked and scored in the 2nd inning. Portchester's only run. And we're going to have a courtesy runner in for Portchester, and it will be number 2, Andy Castellano, who will be a freshman at Syracuse this year, a reserve 3rd baseman.
Andy Castellano, he played for Portchester High School. He had 15 attempts in stealing the base, and he was perfect. 15 for 15. So they have a rabbit at first.
Nobody out.
Try to move him around.
Swinging away, and that one could be trouble. It is. It'll fall in front of Schultz in left field for a base hit. And Castellano stops at second base. And Portchester's in business with runners at first and second and nobody out. And it'll be Doug Flam, the right fielder. He has a single in his one plate appearance, 1 for 1 today.
Oh, if he gets on base, he has 10 for 10 in steals. He's batting .444. Attends Norwalk High School. He will be a senior in September. He had 21 RBIs. Right here, he's hoping for a good hit and have another RBI or 2. Infield fly rule is in effect.
And first pitch high and tight, ball 1. Coaches are going to keep a close eye on all of the pitchers today. Guys are working hard, throwing hard, and with the high temperatures, chance for them to get tired before they're able to go the distance. And that one is low.
And they have to be in shape. Got to go to distance.
Let's go, Scotty, come on.
They should work out, run every day, be in shape, because this is where the game's played. It's played in the heat. If they go down south, they'll be playing in hotter weather every day. You're playing in minor leagues in Texas, you might go in as a 200-pounder, and after the season, you're 160 pounds.
Foul off the right side. You know, another point to bring up here with this tournament and all the games that the eventual champion will have to play to finally walk away with the championship trophy is the fact that you don't have a whole lot of pitchers, and you're playing constantly within the next 2 weeks, whether it's in the winner or the loser's bracket, and you got to get that complete game every now and then from those pitchers to save them after a while.
And not only that, but a lot of these players are playing with their American Legion team, and they might, you know, have to pitch tomorrow or whatever, and they may not even pitch here.
That one misses outside, and now Minchak in a little trouble with 2 runners on, nobody out, and a count of 3 balls and 1 strike to Doug Flam.
This is what you don't want to do. You don't want to walk anyone. These walks will kill you. You have to have the control. You have to just zip it in there. You got to throw pills.
That will be the infield fly rule, as Ray mentioned. He's off the handle to Bob Forcelli over at first base, and that's the first out here in the 4th inning. So Minchak jams Doug Flam, gets an easy pop-up, and now we'll bring in Mario Ferrante, the second baseman. He had an RBI single back in the 2nd.
He started for Boston University at second base. He had 22 RBIs.
Throw over to first. Just an easy toss.
That's an excellent school, Boston University, Boston College, all those schools up there.
What's their nickname?
Around the Boston College or the Eagles.
The Eagles, right.
Boston University.
Are the Terriers. Very good. Ripped into left center field. That will go to the fence. 1 run is in. Altiso finally hauls it in. That's going to score 2 on a line drive double by Mario Ferrante. 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs in the game. And Portchester's back in it. They now trail 5-3. That one hit on the nose.
Rip! They're just ripping the ball.
A poke by that young man.
Nice prospect. You know, it's really nice to see this. Here he is. He's up at Boston University. He's playing baseball. He's starting second base. He comes home for the summer. Maybe has a little job, but he's still playing baseball. Every day, always wanting a competition. Yeah, these are the kind of guys that probably, if there's, you know, nothing to do, a little bit late at night after dinner, they probably go down the street, play a little basketball. There's Mr. Cade out there talking to Scott. Ask him if he's a little tired. How's it going? How's your arm feeling? Got to stay with it. But Mario's a great hitter. 2 for 2 today. I love this competition. It's great.
3 RBIs also.
These guys really extend their arms, their heads in there, the head's behind the fist.
Got 1 down.
They rotate those hips. They have the power, the bat speed.
First, 1 down.
All right, so with 1 out, and Ferranti down at second, it's Steve Miranda, the designated hitter. He bounced to short in the second inning, 0 for 1. 5-3 the score. This one golfed down the left field line, and that will fall in for a base hit, and also gets past Schultz in left field, and a run will score. And cruising into second base is Miranda. That'll have to go 1-1, a single and an RBI for Miranda, and then the error by the left fielder Schultz, allowing Miranda to move into second base. So put a hit and an error up on the board, and it is now 5-4.
You can see the power that Steve has here because he just golfed it. It was very low. Falls in there for a hit. The run scores, goes in there for a double, but what do we give him on that, John? A single?
And an error.
Okay.
Give him the RBI, though.
Strong, though. Steve's strong. You just picked that right up. Took it out there, nice area, got the hit.
I don't think so. It's a second. No, he's to
And Mario was motoring around third, coming in for the score.
And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change now for Eastchester as Bill Cade is making his second trip to the mound, and that's going to be all for Scott Minchak. Minchak, who will go 3 1/3 innings. And he's going to be coming out of the ball game. However, Steve Miranda still his responsibility, so the final book not yet closed on him. And we will have a new pitcher coming in for Eastchester. It'll be number 21, Tom Petrillo, a freshman, or will be a freshman this year at Cornell University. He's a right-hander.
And he'll be playing baseball for Cornell.
No. No changes. Tell them what to do. Here we go.
They wanted to do the interview now.
So out on the mound, as we mentioned, Tom Petrillo taking his warm-up tosses, replacing Scott Minchak. Petrillo, number 21, right-handed thrower.
And he played for Mount Vernon High School. He will be attending Cornell in September, and he will be playing baseball. He's 17 years old.
All right, while we watch Petrillo with his warm-up tosses, down on the first baseline is Stephanie Ives, and she has with her the tournament director of this baseball invitational, and that is Ralph Falone. So let's go down to first base with Stephanie Ives.
Thank you very much, John. You know, this is such an exciting game so far. Plays like the one we saw at the play in the first inning. And right now, Portchester's coming back. It's 4-5 right now. And I guess it's plays like that that make this tournament so prestigious, I could say. And right now, I'm with Mr. Vallone. He's the director of the tournament. And I guess you must be very proud so far of the players and the teams that have joined.
Oh, I certainly am. We've been out here for 10 years now, and it gets better every year, as you can see by the caliber of youngsters that play in this tournament.
Which teams come here, and how do they get here?
Well, most of the teams have been with us for the last 8 to 10 years, and they're invited back every year. If we have a good year with them the year before, we invite them back.
And could you give us an example of where these teams come from?
Eastchester, Scarsdale, Greenwich, Stamford, Greenberg, Mount Pleasant. We have 12 teams from all over the county in New Jersey. Some of the players are brought in from New Jersey. It's a showcase type of tournament. You don't necessarily have to play with the team of your town. You can be invited from out of town to a team that's in the tournament.
You have an all-star game coming up on August 9th, I believe. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, that will be a tournament that will have at least 2 boys from every team, which will give everyone a little participation. Then the winning and second place coach in the tournament will have the opportunity to pick the rest of the staff.
Well, you have a beautiful field here and beautiful trophies, and so far it's been a really exciting game. So thank you very much, and back to you, John.
All right, thank you very much, Stephanie. And as you saw just there, Steve Miranda thrown out at third trying to steal, and that quickly the second out of the inning as Charlie Rosabella is at the plate with a count of 2 balls and no strikes. Charlie 0 for 1, walked in the first, bounced to short in the third. And this one lifted into center field. Coming on, Altiso loses the cap, but makes the catch, and that is going to do it here in the fourth as Tom Petrillo comes on, does a nice job in relief of Scott Minchak. However, Portchester does some damage as they score 3 runs of their own on 3 hits. We had 1 error and nobody left on base. So at the end of 3 1/2, it's a ball game. Eastchester leading Portchester by a score of 5-4. That's a big throw out down there at third base.
These guys are playing hard. You can see it. They're really just whipping that ball around. Right now in a close ball game, every play is tough. It's crucial. You know, every move, if they call for a steal or whatever, it has to be executed perfectly well.
You know, just since we did have Ralph Alone on, a couple of other things we'd like to mention in regards to this tournament. Of course, you don't put anything of this size or caliber together without a lot of volunteer help and a lot of corporate help as well. Some of the major corporations in Westchester County getting together, footing the bill for a lot of the trophies and food that is here today, and sodas, and of course the volunteer, Chuck Regano, who's in charge of the umpiring crew. That's a lot of guys to work out a schedule to make sure they've got at least 2 for every game. And of course our congratulations to Ralph Alone, the tournament director, 10 years running, and has really worked himself up to quite, as Stephanie mentioned, and a good word, prestigious tournament.
It certainly is. It really is a showcase the way he mentioned it. And knowing Ralph, I see him many times coming down to Eastchester because he does sell jackets and, you know, for the football team, track team, basketball. He's around the schools, the high school athletes, the students all year round. He really enjoys, you know, good, great competition, and he couldn't ask for anything better than this showcase right here this afternoon.
All right, Bob Forcelli leading it off for Eastchester here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, facing the offerings of Drew Ryan. And the first pitch is high, ball 1. Forcelli 0 for 1, hit a line shot, a rocket that was hauled in by Vinny DeGrande at shortstop. That in the 2nd inning. Eastchester leads 5-4, bottom half of the 4th inning. We are scheduled for 7 today. Curveball, low and inside, 2-0.
In Legion ball, he's batting .325. That's a success.
Fisted, and DeGrande at shortstop makes the catch for the first out here in the 4th inning. Good pitch by Drew Ryan, jammed Forcelli, and he was just able to hit it off the hands. And an easy out here in the 4th. That'll bring up now the shortstop, Chris Archiello. He walked and scored in the 2nd inning, playing an outstanding game defensively. And Ryan's first pitch swung on and missed. Foul back into the screen.
If Chris catches the ball, it'll go. He had 6 home runs in high school. In Section 1, Sean Scott of John Jay had 7, a leader tied with Adam Beerbauer of Croton. 7 home runs. Second was Chris Archiello with 6.
Curveball in the hole, base hit. And Archiello with a big turn around first, and he'll scamper back into the bag. Tough play for DeGrande at shortstop as he was trying to backhand it. It hit the outfield grass, came right up in his face. And he was able to chase it down to keep Archiello at first base.
And that's what you call a bad hop. There it is. It goes. Third baseman tries to dive for a bad hop, and DeGrande gets it right in the head.
So Archiello on. And it'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Richie Petrillo, the catcher. 1 for 2. Throw over to first, not in time. Petrillo bounced to second in the first and singled to drive in a run in the second. Also came around to score. Pop fly may be playable, coming over towards Negrin by the camera, and it came right back out. Negrin had an opportunity to come up with that one, but they don't call him Stone Hands for nothing. So he'll go as a strike. Bruce Negrin, the Rap King. I'll tell you, he was bailing out of there. He was not going to hang in there for nothing.
Oh, the cameramen have to stay in there.
Could have had a great close-up of the third baseman coming right in his face, but no, they're diving out of here. 1 ball, 1 strike to Richie Petrillo. Throw back to first, not in time. Dave Fleming over at first base.
Richie Petrillo will be a sophomore at Princeton. Last year he was on a junior varsity team. He had 18 RBIs and he batted .411.
Fastball high and tight.
Ooh, throwing smoke.
1 ball, 1 strike to Petrillo. 1 out, 1 on. Bottom of the 4th inning.
As the game goes on, Doug gets stronger on the mound.
It seems that way.
Yep. You can hear the ball popping. You know. Love it. I love it. I love great baseball.
Inside fastball, 2 balls and a strike now to Richie Petrillo. Kind of a rarity in the fact that Richie the catcher and the leadoff hitter. Don't see that too often. Slapped in the hole, base hit. Boy, hit them where they ain't. Archiello, big turn around second and hustles back into the bag safely. So Petrillo with his second hit of the ball game, now 2 for 3 on the day. Archiello's down at second, and with 1 out, will bring up the second baseman Terry Lolly. Lolly walked in the first, was gunned down trying to steal home, and then in the second inning, doubled to drive in 2 runs.
John, it seems like the college ball players are really wrapping the ball. You have Petrillo at Princeton. He has 2 hits. Mario Ferranti has 2 hits, and he attends Boston University. The college kids are hitting it.
Got a courtesy runner in now for the catcher Petrillo, and it will be number 10, John Rosengren, a sophomore at Rye Country Day School. He's also another one of the pitchers, a lefty thrower, but he's going to do a little running now.
John Rosengren is the youngest player in the tournament. He was a freshman last year at Rye Country Day. He had a 2-2 pitching record. He goes to the summer camp at Eastchester under the direction of Dom Ciceri. So you know he's going to be a great pitcher. He's got 3 more years of varsity pitching at Rye Country Day.
5-4 our score, bottom half of the 4th inning. Curveball swung on, high hopper, fielded at third, throw over to first, not in time. Throw back to the bag is not in time. A high hopper and Lolly's great speed got him in safely on an infield single. He is now 2 for 2 in the day, and that'll load him up for Al Tiso.
Terry Lolly attends Westchester Community College. And again, it was the blazing speed that got him safe up at first. Al Tiso, the bases loaded. He loves the fastball coming in. He loves this situation right here. If he bangs it out, he has a couple of RBIs.
Curveball in the dirt gets away, but not a whole lot of room between home plate and the screen. So it'll be very difficult for the runner from third to score on a pass ball or a wild pitch, unless it really gets away.
Now, Al Tiso, as a junior, he batted .575 for Eastchester High School.
Infield's playing in. Popped up, and it's in the infield. Batter's automatically out, and the runners will hold. Al Tiso, that we mentioned earlier, you miss a home run by a fraction of an inch, and that's just what he did. Just a little bit underneath it.
And again, the infield fly rule is in effect. And the infield fly rule is with a man on first and second or the bases loaded with no outs or 1 out. If there's a fly ball in the infield, the batter is automatically out, but the runners can advance at their own risk.
That, of course, a rule put in the books years ago after some of those infielders got a little smart and let it drop and quick bang, bang, double play.
Exactly.
All right, here comes Mike Schultz. He takes an opening strike from Drew Ryan. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. Eastchester up by a run, looking to increase that lead here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Schultz with an RBI single in the first and bounced to short in the second. 1 for 2. Rips this one into the gap in right center. That will score 2, if not 3. 2 runs are in. They're going to try to wave around Lolly. Here comes the throw to the plate, and it is not in time. A 3-run double by Mike Schultz.
What a hit by Mike Schultz. Goes to Concordia. He rips this one into right center. And the ball is bouncing, going to the fence. And there's 1 run in, 2 runs in. Archiello motoring down. The throw is late, and he scores. What a dive. Little contact there at home plate. A cloud of dust. After the dust
and a
clears, we have
silver.
Save.
Yeah. So Mike Schultz with 4 RBIs in the game as he clears the bases. And Ray DiMartino now up 0 for 2, struck out in the first and bounced to short in the third.
Boy, Concordia they have excellent baseball players down there.
2 balls, no strikes now to DiMartino.
Mike Schultz has quick bat speed. You see he got around on that, and his eyes were right there. He never turned his head away. Beautiful hit. Good piece of hitting.
Well, right there, DiMartino swinging through a fastball. 2 balls and a strike now. No, Ryan almost got out of the jam.
DiMartino will be going to Ithaca College playing baseball up there. These guys love the game. They'll play every day.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Well, the count runs full, 3 and 2, 2 outs, runner at third.
Now here's where the batter has to protect the plate. Anything close, he's going to have to go after it.
High, ball 4. That's the 4th walk given up by Ryan in the ball game. Puts runners at the corners with 2 outs, and Alfie Oliva, the right fielder, walked and scored in the second, fly to left in the third.
Oh, Alfie's going to be a friend of Ray's up at Ithaca. And Alfie may play football up there.
Fastball, foul tipped into the mitt, strike 1.
Let me know, Sal. What?
I wonder if they're going to be roommates. They'll both be freshmen.
Outfield shaded a little bit towards right, playing pretty deep too for Oliva. Fastball, and Oliva swinging through that one, and quickly now Ryan ahead on the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Runners at first and third, 2 away.
Alfie's tall for a quarterback, isn't he? Look, good height.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Drew Ryan gets Oliva to go down on strikes, but not before the damage is done. Eastchester comes up with 3 more runs on 4 hits, no errors, and a runner left. And at the end of 4 complete at Disbrow Park, it is now Eastchester 8 and Portchester 4. And we'll return with more of the Rye Baseball Invitational Tournament in just a moment.
A special message to all UA Columbia cable subscribers. In our continuing efforts to upgrade and track the quality of our cable system, and by the order of the New York State Cable Commission, we need to gain access to your home in order to inspect the grounding of the cable wires. So please, when a member of the UA Columbia technical staff visits your home with the proper identification, allow him to inspect our wires. It is for your protection. If you need any information, call 636-4229.
Back here at Disbro Park, John Carrillo along with Ray Karowski and Stephanie Ives, as we're going to the top half of the 5th inning and the first of a doubleheader. If you're watching us Saturday night, this all took place just hours ago. If you're watching on Sunday, then we'll remind you that we'll have game number 2 coming your way Tuesday night at 7:30, and that will be the Larchmont Mamaroneck team taking on Rye, and that should be a pretty good ball game as well. If you're watching on Sunday, that game's coming up right at the conclusion of this one.
We had a change.
We're going to have a defensive change next inning for Portchester, and I'll alert the stations along the network when that occurs. But everybody's going to still bat the way it goes, and leading the way will be the center fielder for Portchester, Chris Bade. Hit into a double play in the first, bounced to short in the third, 0 for 2. Top half of the 5th inning, Eastchester leading 8-4. And the first pitch is up high, ball 1.
Chris was a center fielder for Mayapack High School. His batting average is .408, 22 RBIs. You have to be fast to play center field to cover all that territory. You're responsible for the alleys.
Tom Petrillo on the mound now for Eastchester in relief of Scott Minchak. And that one is high, and the count now 3 balls, no strikes to Chris Bade.
Batter has to have a good eye, be patient. You can't be over anxious. You go for that sucker pitch, which is high, and that's a no-no. I don't like that. I don't like going for those balls. You have more power with the bat when that pitch is a little bit lower around your waist, thighs. You can really wrap it.
That one's over.
3-1.
3 balls and a strike now to Chris Bade. Nobody on, no outs. Top of the 5th inning. Eastchester leading 8-4. Foul straight up, and it will be the catcher making the grab. That is a very, very difficult play. Richie Petrillo doing a nice job coming up with that one. There's a screen that comes right just to the back of home plate, and of course, as everyone knows, on a pop fly that the catcher is usually going to handle has a tendency to come back to you towards the infield, and Petrillo did a nice job sticking with it and registering the first out here in the 5th. Down on all fours, grabbing it. Yeah, the pitcher making sure he holds it. Yeah. All right, here's Drew Ryan now, the pitcher, and he fouls it back into the screen, strike 1. Incidentally, final numbers on Scott Minchak, who started the ball game for Eastchester. He went 3 in the 3rd innings, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits, did not strike out anybody, and he walked 3. Petrillo came on in the 4th inning. They threw out a base runner trying to steal, and then he got the last one on a fly ball to center. Now working his first full inning, and a curveball bounces about 3 feet in front of home plate, and that evens the count at 1-1. Drew Ryan, 1 for 2 in the game, bounced to short in the first, singled in the 3rd inning. He's gone the distance on the mound thus far. He's given up the 8 runs.
1-1.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Nobody on. Petrillo gets the sign. Ripped into right field. That'll fall in front of Alfie Oliva for a base hit. Second hit for Drew Ryan, now 2 for 3 in the day. And we'll bring up now Dave Fleming. Fleming, one of the premier performers this season overall in Section 1.
Mr. Basketball of Westchester County. All section in basketball 2 years. Great, great super baseball player. Full ride to the University of Georgia. What shoes he has to fill.
Goes after the first pitch, dumps it down the left field line, and that will fall in. Ryan is around second. The throw into third is not in time. Had a little dinker. Had just found its way inside the foul line down the left field side. So Fleming with a base hit, his first of the day. And Drew Ryan, hustling all the way, slides headfirst safely into third. So Portchester, again, trying to battle back in this ball game. With one out, they have runners at second and third. And it will be the catcher's turn, John Goodliff. 0 for 1, fly to right in the second, and he walked and scored in the fourth inning.
Fleming down at second base, that full scholarship at Georgia. He has to fill the shoes of the pitcher that was just signed by the Atlanta Braves, #1. And I understand that that pitcher not only is a great thrower, but he also is a great hitter. So I think they got the right man by taking Fleming. He can hit, he can pitch. He'll step right in there.
That's a little inside. We were all hoping when we were coming here today that we'd have an opportunity to watch Dave Fleming pitch. We mentioned it through a couple of no-hitters during the regular season for Mahopac, but we understand he pitched yesterday for his American Legion team.
Not only does he pitch no-hitters, I think he has, if I'm not mistaken, like 24 or 25 consecutive wins as a pitcher in high school, American Legion, whatever. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, tough man to beat when he's on the mound. 2-0 pitch is up high, and now Petrillo's in a bit of trouble as he goes 3-0 on John Goodliff. And Richie Petrillo will go out and talk to Tom.
Settle down, take it easy, get the ball over. We can do it, we're ahead. All these words of encouragement.
3 balls and no strikes now to John Goodliff. Fastball missed inside, ball 4. And that is the first walk given up by Petrillo in the ball game, but right now that loads him up with just 1 out. And it'll be Chris Skalippa, the left fielder. Walked and scored in the second, singled and scored in the fourth inning. And now some interesting strategy about to be handed down as Sal Carino, the manager of the Portchester Club, quick chat with Skalippa.
Now, what do you think Sal might be saying to him? You know, you have, what, 1 out. You could have a safety squeeze. That's a possibility. Maybe get, you know, the run in. But then again, you have Chris at the plate. He was the most valuable player in the league. He's batting .458. He had 42 RBIs. I would let him hit away. He had 49 hits. You know, get the RBIs. Knock the runs in.
Curveball misses outside.
You know, Portchester's also tough in football.
Did a pretty good year.
Yep. And it'll be good again.
Had a good baseball year also.
Oh, he's tremendous. Football, baseball.
Yeah, they got themselves up into the state championship round.
Yeah, you have Tony Zimbalati, the athletic director. He has that athletic program. It's moving. It's on a roll.
Petrillo will work from the full windup with the bases loaded. High hopper. Archiello short hops it. He'll only have 1 play, and he throws it away. And 2 runs are going to score. I tell you, I don't think he would have gotten them anyway. Skalippa with great speed down the line, and I think he just flat out beat it. But then the throw in the dirt allowing the second run to score. So we'll go 1-1 on this one again. You see a high hopper. Archiello has to short hop it. The only play he has at first, but there Skalippa beating it out. So a base hit gives him an RBI, then an error on the throw, which allowed the second run to score. And Portchester back in it, 8-6 now.
Now we have to watch Chris Skalippa at first. Now during the baseball year, he had 13 steals out of 15 attempts, so you have to watch. He may go down to second.
It'll be Doug Flam, the right fielder, and the opening pitch over, strike 1. Flam singled in the second and popped to first in the fourth.
Flam will only be a senior at Norwalk High School. He batted .444. You have to watch Chris at first. He can motor.
Back to the mound. They'll try to get 2. Second for 1, and that's it. Petrillo had to go down on his knees to pick up the ball, and as soon as he did that, lost the chance for the double play, but did get the lead runner, Chris Kalippa, as that one goes 1-6, but Flam on the fielder's choice.
Little shot back to the pitcher, throws to Chris Archiello, trying to go for the deuce, could not complete it.
Of course, Flam gets credit for the RBI as Goodliff scores from third on the play.
Oh, look who's up, Mario.
Mario Ferrante, he's having a whale of a game, 2 for 2. A single, a double, and 3 runs batted in, and he has scored a run as well.
Mario Ferrante plays second base for Boston University, and he is having a day here this afternoon. 2 hits and 3 RBIs. And he looks hungry up there at the plate. He wants another hit.
Runner goes, pitch missed, throw, gets into center field. Flam is around second. Here comes the throw into third. It is not in time.
Oh, Flam can motor. At Norwalk, he had 10 attempts for steals, and he was perfect, 10 for 10. These guys have foot speed. They say that if you, in a 60-yard dash, to be a good runner, you have to be under 7, like 6'4", 6'5", 6'3". Anything under 7 seconds is good in a 60-yard dash for the major leagues in baseball.
1-1 pitch to Ferrante. That bounces in the dirt.
That was a curve.
2-1 now to Mario Ferrante with the tying run now 90 feet away. Portchester trailing 8-4 coming into this inning, have scored 3 runs. Battled right back. They now trail 8-7.
And Mario went to Blind Brook High School. He was a 2-year all-leaguer.
Outside, 3-1.
A 2-time all-leaguer, would say.
Great play down at third by Ray DiMartino, grabbing that one, and that will end the inning. That one was also hit on the line, as we'll take another look at it here. This one on the nose.
This ball is ripped. He just comes across. It is ripped to the third baseman right there. He sticks out his glove and makes a great catch.
Portchester comes up with 3 big runs in that inning on 3 hits. We had 1 error and nobody left, or 1 left on base. And at the end of 4.5 innings, it is now Eastchester 8 and Portchester 7.
I'm Miller Barber, and these are my friends, Chichi Rodriguez, Lee Elder, and Sam Snead. Join us along with the best senior golfers in the world. It's a commemorative at the Sleepy Hollow Country Club.
It benefits the March of Dimes. For ticket information, call this number.
I'll be trying to win for the 3rd straight year. Do you know what that proves?
Yeah, that you don't have to be young to play golf.
Yeah, but it sure helps.
How would you know?
An interesting first half, to say the least. Defense very much the key for both schools. However, Irvington with just terrible field position after that opening drive, unable to move the football. There you have it. Irvington leading Bronxville 6-0. Stay right with us. We'll have all of our halftime festivities, including the halftime tally and the scoring sheet, all coming up in just a moment as we continue. Going out of the bottom half of the 5th inning, 8-7 the score. Eastchester leading Portchester in this opening round day of the 10th annual Rye City Baseball Invitational Tournament. It's been seesaw back and forth as Eastchester comes up here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And leading the way will be the designated hitter, Roger Sorello. And he goes after the first pitch and bangs it into center field. Picks up his 2nd hit of the day, now 2 for 3 on the afternoon. And Eastchester again with the leadoff hitter on.
Roger had a nice piece of hitting there because that first pitch was a curve. He just followed it, took it right down the middle. Beautiful contact, comes up with the hit. Boy, these batters can hit anything. You throw them a curve, slider, fastball, change of pace. They will rock it. Rock and roll with that ball.
Here's Bob Friselli now, the first baseman, 0 for 2. And this one, nice play down at second. They'll get one there. Back to first, double play. Mario Ferrante coming up with a short hop, and the twin killing gets everybody off the base paths. 4-6-3.
Beautiful catch by Mario, the second baseman at Boston University. Comes up with a beautiful ground, you know, nice hop. He played it close to his body and turned over the deuce. Excellent baseball.
So with 2 outs now, climbing in will be the number 9 hitter and the shortstop, Chris Archiello. 1 for 1, walked and scored in the second, singled and scored in the fourth. And Drew Ryan quickly hit on the count, no balls, 1 strike. Curveball, that's over as well. No balls, 2 strikes.
You know, Drew was on the mound. He was losing 8-4. It seems like it didn't bother him. He maintains his poise out there on the mound. He just threw a knuckler. He must have an array of pitches. You see a curve, a slider. I just saw the knuckler, the fastball. He probably throws the fastball 2 different ways with 2 seams and 4 seams. And he maintains his poise. Nothing bothers him. It just keeps working, working, working.
Foul back. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Incidentally, that's Doug Flam down at second base now, as we had Kevin Schiff come in, and he's playing right field, but replacing Mario Ferrante, and they moved Flam from right down to second base. So he's the one who made that spectacular grab.
That was Flam?
Yep, started off the double play. Curveball in there, strike 3. Archiello goes down on strikes, and that's a quick inning as Drew Ryan gives up 1 hit, but gets the double play to get out of the jam. And at the end of 5 complete now, it remains Eastchester 8 and Portchester 7.
Down by 1 run.
Oh, it is still Mario out at second. All right.
Oh, that is?
All right, Mario Ferrante still down at second base.
That's Mario, the second baseman at Boston University.
So a nice play all around. While we got a chance, let's take a look at what else we got coming up on the schedule as we continue the softball game of the week here at Cable 3. And coming your way at the end of July, a little different than what we're usually used to seeing, and that means fast pitch softball is coming up as we head over to the village of Dobbs Ferry, a battle of the delis, Rocky's Deli against Dan's Deli. And we'll have that one for you Thursday, July 30th at 9 p.m. That's a good game. They go fast pitch in Dobbs Ferry, only use 9 fielders as opposed to the 10. Takes a little longer than regular softball, but that's a lot of bang-bang action there.
Yeah, what are they playing for, sandwiches?
Probably. A good half pound of macaroni salad, something like that.
Deli versus Deli.
8-7 our score.
You see a lot of guys playing in the softball leagues that were former baseball players in high school. They're married. They're away from their wives, their children. They go out and they play. They still have the little boy in them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And do they take it seriously?
Oh, they play hard like it's a major league tryout camp. Sliding, diving. I would never dive into a play, third base or second, you know. I mean, me, 40 years old.
That's right. Well, you're over the hill. You're a lot older than I am. All right, Tom Petrillo continuing his warm-up tosses. He's in relief of Scott Minchak, who went the first 3 1/3 innings. Petrillo now working his second full inning. We're moving to the top half of the 6th inning. Eastchester opened it up with a run in the bottom of the first. Then Portchester came back in the top half of the second to tie it. And then Eastchester with 4 in the second to leave 5-1. Then Portchester scored 3 in the fourth to make it 5-4. Eastchester came back with 3 of their own in the bottom of the fourth to go up 8-4. and then Portchester with 3 more in the top of the 5th, and that's where we stand 8-7. 6th inning coming up. We're scheduled for 7. Winner of this game will move on in the winner's bracket, while the losers will be just 1 loss away from elimination out of this tournament. And leading it off for Portchester will be the designated hitter, Steve Miranda. 1 for 2, bounced to short in the 2nd, and singled to drive in a run in the 4th inning. He was also gunned down trying to steal 3rd that same inning.
Steve's a strong hitter. We got to look back when he was 15 years old. He hit a home run to win the game and the tournament for Portchester 2 years ago.
Miranda went around on that high fastball and evens the count at 1-1.
Like Johnny Bench, strength and bat speed combined, put together. Curveball. Right over the plate. Steve was a little mesmerized on that one.
High, laid off of it.
22.
And that evens it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Well, I'll tell you, I don't know.
Cut around on that one, and he will go down on strikes. First out here in the 6th inning.
That was a curveball.
And between the 2 pitchers, Petrillo and Minchak, that is the first strikeout registered by either of those in this game. It means Portchester swinging the bat.
That was a nice curveball. It curved and it dipped. It dropped, just like going off a table.
All right, we've got a new hitter coming in now. This is Kevin Schiff, number 10, coming in for Charlie Rosabella. So that's where that changes is. Doug Flam moved from right field to 3rd base, replacing Rosabella. And Kevin Schiff comes into the order in right field. And that one grounded down to 3rd. DiMartino with a nice strong throw and got in. Good arm by that young man out there. And that's the 2nd out here in the 6th.
Got 2, count 1, 2, 3. Come on.
Take another look at it. This one hard hit, and DiMartino not rushing at all, and got it over in time. So 2 up, 2 down, and here comes Chris Bade, the center fielder. 0 for 3 in the ball game. Hit into a double play in the 1st, bounced to short in the 3rd, and popped to the catcher in the 5th. 2 outs, nobody on. 8-7 our score, top half of the 6th inning.
Let's go, Tommy. Come on.
4 more outs now for Portchester to try to get the tying run. Looked to bunt, pulled it back, and the count now 2 balls, no strikes.
I don't have any cards. Why the hell do I have cards?
Outside. 3-0.
Come on, Tom. Now give me a free ride. Come on.
Outfield straight away.
Chris is a nice looking prospect for Yale. A good size, height.
And that'll put Bade on first with the walk. And another conference out on the mound between Petrillo and Petrillo. Sounds like a law firm.
Handle all cases.
So runner at first with 2 away. And we'll bring up the pitcher, Drew Ryan. 2 for 3 in the ball game. Bounced to short in the 1st, singled in the 3rd, and singled and scored in the 5th.
Drew Ryan's a pitcher and a 3rd baseman. He's got that good strong arm on a mound, and then when he plays 3rd, he gets a grounder close to 3rd, a little bit deep. He can throw hard to 1st.
Fastball cut on and fouled into the screen, strike 1.
Drew can also motor. He's got good foot speed. He had 21 attempts during this year at Mahopac and had 20 steals, 20 for 21.
Like to meet the catcher who threw him out. It's that old joke about major league team that was really hurting, couldn't win a ball game, and one of their scouts called up and said he found a pitcher. Runner goes, throw down a 2nd, not in time.
High throw.
Stolen base by Chris Bade. Puts him in scoring position.
The throw was a little high. That throw's got to go down like a rocket, right over the pitcher's head, right into second base.
Well,
Can see it. Good foot speed right there. Nice slide. Good technique. Fundamentally sound.
1 ball, 1 strike to Ryan.
Oh, Chris Bade, also a runner. He was 17 for 18 in stolen bases.
Curveball low in the dirt, gets away, but blocked nicely.
Usually when they steal, they steal on a pitcher. You know, the pitcher has to keep them close, maybe as a high kick or whatever the pitcher may have. And then you make the steal on the pitcher, and then the catcher, by the time he does get it and throw it down, you know, it's not there. So a lot of times the steals are made on the pitcher, not on the catcher.
Anyway, that story that I heard, scout calls up and says, found a pitcher, he struck out 27 guys, only 1 guy hit a foul ball off of him. And the manager says, forget the pitcher, give me the guy who hit the foul ball. Curveball, grounder down to short. Arciello right over his head. A bad hop that flew over him, and we are all tied at 8 apiece. That's a single. Ryan now 3 for 3 with an RBI. But Arciello right in front of it, and it hit something, kicked right over his head into left field for the base hit. And while we've got time on the field, Bill Cade, manager of the Eastchester Ball Club, out onto the mound. You take another look.
Drew Ryan, here he is, good prospect right there. Good speed, there's the hit. Hard hit ball, just bounced right over Chris Arciello's head. He couldn't do anything about it. May have hit a clump of grass, whatever, but it was well hit. Way completely over his head. And an RBI. Tied ball game, 8-8. Dave Fleming on his way to the University of Georgia. Full scholarship. What a great way to get an education.
This day and age, a tremendous way.
At Mahopac, he was 7-0. His ERA is .025.
That's pretty good.
You know, if I was batting right now, I'd ask the umpire to put in a brand new ball, a white ball, so I can see it better. That ball, it's dirty, John. That ball's, it's all dirty. Get a new ball in there.
That's in the dirt. And again, Petrillo with a nice play, keeping it in front of him. Two balls, no strikes to Dave Fleming.
Drew's
1 for 3 in the game.
Drew's on first, right?
Right.
He has 20 for 21 in steals. I'd send him down. Make it happen.
In there. 2-1 the count.
Oh, Dave thought it was a ball, a little low. I'm not going to argue with him. He can hit. He hit .440 in the year, 25 RBIs.
Curveball is low. Now, Mahopac, another team, one of the others in Section 1 that had a tremendous regular season and then got into the Section 1 tournament, and they were knocked right out in the first round.
Immediately, yeah. They were beaten by, I think, Clarkstown South.
Very good. Runner goes. Pitches high, ball 4.
That's what I would do. Send them down. That was a ball anyway.
So all of this with 2 outs. Now runners at first and second. Portchester has already tied the game. And coming in, the catcher, John Goodliff. 0 for 1 with 2 walks and 2 runs scored. And Bill Cade back out on the mound, so that's going to be all for Tom Petrillo. And we're going to have another hurler coming in. And this time, it will be Frank Tomasini, number 28, be a freshman at Pace University this fall, and he is a lefty.
And Tomasini was the quarterback for Roosevelt High School, and at Pace, he may play football. You play football for Tony DiMatteo, you have to be tough. You see Dave Fleming here takes the lead. Had a good jump, excellent jump. But then if that fourth pitch comes down and it's a walk, it's the ball, he's walked, it's automatic.
That actually is Andy Castellano, number 2, came in as a courtesy runner for the pitcher, Drew Ryan. They're not going to have him run around the bases on a day like this. So Castellano is down at second. Fleming is at first. We've got 2 outs and a new pitcher coming in now for Eastchester, Frank Tomasini. He's the 3rd hurler for Eastchester in the game, as we're all tied at 8 with 2 outs in the top half of the 6th inning.
So that wasn't Drew Ryan going down. I made a
not on that
mistake
one.
there. Sorry about that.
John, you got him?
Tomasini continues with his warm-up tosses. Again, tell you, for those of you who may not be familiar with this tournament, this is the 10th annual Rye City Baseball Invitational. And this is a tournament featuring 12 teams from the New York metropolitan area.